Come join Kyle, John, and David as they go through what's on the playlist. Find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest. In and out points, no celebs and the gossip. Back in time where we're talking about the big M's, coming attractions, what the cue. Quick checks, who'll be laughing? You abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you hear all latest in television, entertainment news with too many else. Exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and a third one is
Kyle Bridger. I will say that I'm the butcher to John's mother's milk. He's always in charge of everything. To Dave's okay, I'll give you Huey.
Okay.
You can be Huey. I almost gave you Homelander, but
close one. Wait,
I almost gave you another type of mother's milk.
Yeah. Is it a gray hair? I don't know.
Yeah. I think you plucked it from the wrong area.
Yeah, not doing that on the pod. Oh boy, I feel like it's gonna be a wild one. We've been off for a bit, so we have a lot of stuff, pent up and ready to just. I don't know where I'm going with this. Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a bit. We got a lot to catch up on, a lot to do. We got two huge premieres in the last week to talk about with House of the Dragon and The Boys. But we also have this first segment. John, what is it?
In and Out Points.
This is In and Out Points. A couple of things to catch up on. This one was maybe last month, but it's something very interesting because we love talking about AI on this podcast. OpenAI has added a voice to ChatGPT, but unfortunately said voice sounds a bit too close to a famous actress who voiced a very popular virtual assistant on the big screen. OpenAI has come under fire for the voice of Sky and how it resembles Scarlett Johansson. OpenAI's Sam Altman has denied the comparison and said, quote, "It's not her voice. It's not supposed to be. I'm sorry for the confusion. Clearly you think it is. People are going to have different opinions about how much voices sound alike, but we don't. It's not her voice." A little bit later on, we'll play said voices to get you guys' thoughts on that. But initially, what are your thoughts on this story? Because there's a lot of components. There's some more stuff from Scarlett Johansson to talk about. But overall, John, initial thoughts on this?
After hearing the voices, they sound similar. I'm not 100% convinced that it is her voice doing that training data. Because if you think about how it sounds, and they're basing it off of her voice from the movie Her, which we'll discuss. I don't know if there's enough vocal lines in that movie to train an AI to be able to talk like that.
Well, I'll stop you a little bit there. So, yeah. While it is the voice of an AI, they did hire an actress.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
To do the voice. Yeah. But the question is, did they tell the actress, do a Scarlett Johansson? Or
does that matter?
That's a very tricky situation.
I don't know if they're saying, "Oh, we liked this sound. Can you do something similar?" Is that legally distinct enough? Can you copyright someone's voice and performance in that way? I don't know. Obviously, the performance, yes, you can copyright the direct performance. But if I'm famous, art styles. If I paint in the same style as somebody else, but it's me painting, I don't know if you can copyright. You know what I mean? Like,
let's you make it seem like you're pretending that this, or not
if
pretending,
marketing it as that. Yes,
yeah, inferring that this is the voice of Scarlett Johansson doing this.
And I think what it boils down to is, and I know we're going to discuss this in a minute, is he shot himself in the foot by tweeting the word "her."
Yeah,
and in reference to this. I think if he hadn't done that and had released the voice, they would have much better legal grounds to say, hey, we got a new voice actress. We wanted to sound similar. That's the end of the story. But saying that
he made the comparison.
He made the comparison. I think that calls into light that it is similar, and they're going to have to prove that they did not base it or use any of her voice on that. I think you could base it on her performance, but I don't think you can use any of her performance in the training. Is my opinion on how it works. I don't know how it actually works.
I mean, I gotta assume we did stuff all the time where, hey, we want this to sound like this certain person, and I mean, they're doing it in Inside Out right now. Yeah. I mean, they have two actors doing the role that somebody, and I'm sure they wanted to sound very similar so that no one gets confused. So, I think what it comes down to is, did they use her whatever voice to,
supplement the training data.
Supplement or create this vocal style that they have working for them. But this is the rabbit hole. This is the thing that we're going to be battling for eternity. I think at this point,
the strikes last year were very much about this, and I'm sure the next strikes will be very much about this. And it's going to completely change entertainment, but also the world. And
I mean, it's currently changing. I mean, there's been stories of like, oh, we'll just get AI to do that. Oh, we'll just get AI to. It's already here, and it's being used all the time.
Before the pod, I was talking with John. I'm like, can we just get Kyle as an AI? Like, do we need Kyle every week on the pod?
I've got 10 years of training, or not 10 years, but I got a bunch of years of training data on him. I mean, you say the word, we'll have it up by next week.
You just have a lot of uhs and ums and then yes. That'll be my analysis.
And you just yelling, we're back.
We're back, baby. So I want to go through a bunch of different things, and then we'll play the clip. We're all out of order tonight, but John, you mentioned it when Altman tweeted out the demo and said the word "her." Big mistake. Big mistake. Don't do that. That makes a comparison. But Scarlett Johansson had a statement about this. So she released a statement from her side of the events and said, quote, it's a long one, so I'll read as much as I can here. But so, quote, last September, I received an offer from Sam Altman, who wanted to hire me to voice the current ChatGPT 4.0 system. He told me that he felt that by my voicing this system, I could bridge the gap between tech companies and creatives and help consumers to feel comfortable with the seismic shift concerning humans and AI. He said he felt that my voice would be comforting to people. After much consideration and for personal reasons, I declined the offer. 9 months later, my friends, family, and the general public all noted how much the newest system named Sky sounded like me. And then, as I said, he tweeted, said her, which is the title of the film. And then 2 days later, after the demo was released, Altman reached out again, seeing if she would reconsider. And before they could even connect, the full system was out there. And she has threatened some legal action. I believe they have pulled the Sky voice. But it's that makes things more complicated because it's like, we tried to get Scarlett Johansson. She said no. We got an actress who may have we don't know, may or may not have been told, do it like this. And then we tweeted out saying her. Like, you're trying to make that comparison. Like,
it's too close. I think this is a smoking gun for this guy because tried to get the actress. People say it sounds like her. It seems like he really wants her. And then all of a sudden, even if it's in the style, it's like, dude, this is too close. This is way too close.
You're giving too much evidence that it is based off that rather than there just being a comparison saying, oh, yeah, they're similar.
Yeah, exactly. We have a very quick clip. I believe I pulled it from a podcast, so it's very quick. So, there's not much to it, but this gives you a sense of these two voices. The first one will be from the movie Her. The second one is Sky.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm well. How's everything with you?
Pretty good, actually. It's really nice to meet you.
And here is OpenAI's chatbot.
Hey, ChatGPT. I'm Mark. How are you?
Oh, Mark. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Again, not much to go off of, but I think it's kind of close.
Yeah.
I think it's very close.
I think it's very close too.
Yeah, and I
could he get away? with saying it's in the style of that though? I mean, it's.
I know, but like the tweet her.
I know.
Dude, like, what are you doing?
But you could say I wanted it in the style of the actress that does her.
Yeah, I think. But then by asking, like, I tried to get the actress that did that, and she said no. It's very complicated. There's this quick story I'll say. Like, I listened to another podcast. It might have been the Hard Fork podcast, and they played like a longer segment, and pretty much like how this guy was using it, and he was. And getting ready for like a job interview type thing. Maybe he was like put on like a hat or something. And because they were using the camera, like she was able to comment on his look for the interview and his appearance. And it was, first of all, it was so flirty. It was so like, it was getting awkward. I'm like, you two get a room already.
Oh,
but
God.
like, it was just like putting on the hat. It's like, no, what are you wearing? That's so goofy. Like, take that off. Like, it was just like one of those things where it's like, this is too weird. This is very like it's the movie. It's the movie her in real life.
Oh God.
Yeah, but
dude, we go away for a month and you're making me freak out, man. You're making me freak out. This is like the next stage in our human development.
A lot happened in those 5 weeks.
I guess so.
A lot happened. Now I think we're able to move to our next in and out point. Now, while ScarJo, is not going to be the voice of AI here. I think a good person that could be an AI voice, if they could get him, would be Michael C. Hall. He did great work on Dexter, that narration. He was so good on it. But then again, he might not have the time. He's going to be possibly busy doing VO work for Dexter Original Sin. Man, I was stretching on that one. Okay. The cast has been announced for this prequel series, with Patrick Gibson playing the titular role, originally played by Michael C. Hall. Michael C. Hall is only an EP on this production, but my guess is he's going to probably do that voiceover a la Jim Parsons, Young Sheldon thing on this series. But we got our cast, we got our young Muppets here for Dexter Original Sin. John, are you excited for this new Dexter series?
Did we need this? Is my only question. I mean, is anyone saying, "Oh man, those 4 scenes they had from the show Dexter of him as a kid? What if that was 4 seasons? Yeah. Oh, dude, that would be great. We could see how his mind gets corrupted by the death of his mother or whatever. I don't remember what his origin story is at this point. It's been so long. Like, oh man, really?
I'm just not sure how this will work or why or like. So Dexter's obviously huge for Showtime. It's probably their biggest series. Like, it's done so well for them. And the miniseries that they did a few years ago, The New Blood, did really well for them. And I think it was like kind of posed as like this like Harrison spinoff. It's like, okay, yeah, Michael C. Hall's done, Dexter's done, but maybe if we do it with his kid and we can see the rise of that and, the next generation type thing. But it's like people did not like the younger Dexter copy. They didn't like young Harrison. They were like, enough of this kid. Like, he's a brat. No. Pass. Isn't this like the same-ish thing? Like, this isn't Michael C. Hall. This is a younger Dexter. Like, who? Sure, it's Dexter, but it's not really Dexter, because I think Dexter is Michael C. Hall. Like, they're together. They are the same thing. I don't know how this is gonna work. I mean, it's and then I think I was complaining to you, John. Like, so they casted other counterparts. Like, for this series, they got a younger Deb, they got a younger Batista, LaGuardia, Masuka. They have them all, except for Dokes. First of all, like, where is Dokes? If you're gonna cast anyone, get Dokes on this thing. Yeah. But they have all the younger ones of Miami Metro, like, where they all happen to start at the same time. Like, this is like the first day of work. I saw in the description he's like doing a forensic internship or something, but it's like they're all happen to start at the same exact time. Like, it's like weird.
It was bring your kid to work day. Harry brought Dexter in, and everyone else brought their kids in, and this should be a show.
Yeah, it just seems like it's like a weird thing. It'd be like almost like a prequel of The Office, and like they all happen to start on the same day or something. It's like, it just seems too unbelievable. They're all different ages and groups, and so from like the basic plot points, I don't get. But then also the casting, I don't get. I don't get any aspect of this other than, oh, it has the Dexter IP, and that's it.
That's 2024.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
I mean, that's all I was gonna say. Is I think Paramount, Showtime, whatever, are hurting. They need something that maybe people recognize and want to come back to and watch. Let's slap Dexter on here and just move away from that as quickly as we can, or kind of move off into our own thing and make it its own, little side story as quick as we can. But I don't know. To me, it's like, how much can you beat this dead horse? I mean, Dexter, from what I hear, was already too long as it is, and now we're adding some other stuff that I don't think anybody was asking for. I don't know if Dexter fans were like, "Hey, we want this." I don't know. It just seems like a stab at IP, and we'll see if something can come out of it. I don't know how this works out for them, but I do like Christian Slater, and
Christian Slater is going to be Dexter's dad, Harry.
Okay.
Which I'll point out. Christian Slater is actually 2 years older than James Remar was at the start of the original Dexter.
Of course.
So in this prequel series, the dad is old. I mean, at least they're close enough in age. And if I guess spoiler for Dexter, 2006 season 1 or whatever. But Dexter's dad's a ghost. So I mean, I guess if he could stay that same age as he was throughout the whole series. I don't know. It's a weird situation, but I like that part of it, and I'm curious to see how it works and maybe how they're gonna act like these characters. But I just think outside of I love Michael C. Hall as Dexter, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care for Batista or LaGuerta or Masuka. I didn't care about any of those people.
Yeah.
And now we get their origin story. It's okay. Great. And we got enough of this origin story. Why couldn't we, if we're going to do this series, take a pickup truck to Michael C. Hall's house, just dump all that money out on it, and just have him do it like he did in the original series, putting on a terrible wig and just pretending he's 20 years younger.
Oh my God, man.
You just pull a wig out of the prop department, slap it on Michael C. Hall. All right, young Dexter. Everyone else can be young.
He can stand on his knees so that he's a little shorter. Yeah, we're good to go. It's already canon. Why are we going back on this?
Yeah. Or AI. Just get some.
Yeah.
But oh well. I guess we'll see if we check it out. If I have Paramount Plus, then maybe I'll check it out. Paramount Plus with Showtime or whatever it's called at this point.
It's still around.
That's true. It almost wasn't. That could have been that. Initially, that was going to be an out point, that Skydance deal, but hey, didn't go through, so there's no news. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to end with an in-out point. It's been a wild week in the world of hot dogs. On Tuesday, it was announced that Joey Chestnut, Chestnut, who has won the eating competition a total of 16 times, is not allowed to compete this year at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest because of a deal he has with a Nathan's competitor. This deal is with Impossible Foods, and they have recently released a plant-based hot dog, and Nathan's all-beef hot dogs will not stand for that. Who cares?
Wow. Yeah.
Really?
So dumb.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I guess like any company, they wouldn't really want their, spokespeople to have be using another product or whatever. It happens often in in the press conferences for sports athletes. They'll have a bottle of Powerade and they'll be sponsored by Gatorade, and so people have to come over and move the Powerade or move some other drink. It's the silliest
thing. Turn the label around, or they scribble out the marker of the logo, the little bit.
Yeah, it's stupid. But what's unfortunate about this is this guy is the maestro of the hot dog eating contest, and we're not going to get to see it. And I think another competitor retired. So I don't know.
I don't understand who's I'm sure people will watch, but who's tuning in? Because this guy smokes everybody.
Yeah.
It's always like 70 hot dogs to like the second place is like 15. It's like, you know, it's not even going to be a competition. Like, Kyle, we did a food eating competition. Maybe we should do it this year. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's possible. Like,
I think he should. I think he should do it just live stream at the same time on the Coney Island beach.
Just show him up with remote. Yeah,
that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. But it's just like, I get it. It's like this is a commercial pretty much for Nathan's and their hot dogs and stuff. But like, I think this is I think it's the Streisand effect, where if I got this like story right and this term right, back in the day, like there was something like Barbara Streisand, like these like photos of like her house and like with the coastline and stuff. And she did not want these out there. So she did this big lawsuit. And because of this lawsuit, it got picked up. So then the pictures were like seen by everyone. Yep. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like with this, I don't think anyone knew that like Joey Chestnut was working with this plant-based hot dog company. And if you just let him compete on the Nathan stage, is he really going to be like, you know, yeah, those 70 Nathan's hot dogs are okay, but the real hot dogs, like he probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So it's just like you now have created this like story and this whole thing because of like this very small thing that I don't think would have been a big deal at all. But well, he's not doing the 4th of July competition. He's doing another one on Labor Day. The very next day after he was banned from the Nathan's hot dog eating competition, Netflix announced another live event coming September 2nd, Labor Day, where Joey Chestnut will face against his rival, the 6-time champ Kobayashi, in a live event entitled Chestnut versus Kobayashi, Unfinished Beef. And yes, these hot dogs are all beef. So there you go. It's coming to Netflix, Labor Day.
But I bet they can't use Nathan's.
They can't use Nathan's.
They gotta. What are they using? Sabrett's? What are they? What's
I don't know.
Ballpark?
Maybe they're looking for a sponsor. Maybe they, you know, like you can reach out and pitch, you know, make some money off of this. But it's like it's like this drama is just so like just funny and like just dumb. And like I saw like Major League Eating. Yes, that's a real Major League Eating released a statement saying, quote, Joey was not banned, but that Joey chose not to compete in a contest the moment he chose to make an endorsement deal with one of Nathan's competitors. So he wasn't banned. He chose not to compete because he made a deal with a different competitor. It's like,
so basically they were saying he knew the consequences of doing this. Yeah. And he probably cashed. I mean, he must have cashed out.
Yeah. Not only, I don't know what Nathan's pays, but like instead of, okay, maybe he lost that this year, but he has this endorsement deal with the plant-based hot dog. And then he got the Netflix money for this other live event where it's just like him and somebody else as the star. I'm sure he actually made money off of this. Like, but
who's eating a plant-based hot dog?
At that point,
like, I mean, right? Vegetarians, I guess, really.
I know, but why not go for something else at that point? It's like, just go with the salad. Why are we going with this fake?
I could see that if I had to be vegan or vegetarian for like health reasons, how maybe I would be like, oh, I would love a hot dog. Like this is the closest thing I could possibly do. But, like, you know what I mean?
I don't do hot dogs at all. Any plant, beef, nothing. No way. I don't need it.
Yeah.
Give me a burger any day.
Also, isn't there, this is just disgusting, but isn't there like a specified amount of rat feces that it's allowed in hot dogs per the FDA?
Yeah, the specified amount of bugs and like all the food that you consume. Like that's just the standard. Like I would hope that there's none, but
I'm gulping down microplastics right here, probably.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right? They should do a rat feces counter on the side of the hot dog. So it's like, how much rat feces did they consume along with the hot dogs? That is a wild event. If you do, anybody who lives around Coney Island, if you do get a chance to go watch it, it is a pretty interesting little people watching event.
How long has it been? Has it been like, I think it's been
a while now.
8 or 9 years, Kyle, since we went.
Yeah.
Is it analogous to that guy who ate the orange cheese balls in New York City a couple months ago?
Oh, God. Yeah, I didn't see that.
He had a whole event. We had like posters up, like just piece of paper taped up. And he had a huge crowd show up. Yeah. And he had a mask on. and he ate one of those big bins of orange cheese balls. No, not me.
I was gonna say, somebody put a mask on. I think
No, not me. And like there was a crowd. They had like a camera crew out there, and people were filming. And he was like, he ate it all, and he was like, all right, same time next year, and then disappeared.
Interesting. Wow.
Well,
The cheese ball bandit.
You live long enough to see yourself become the hero, or whatever that saying is. I want somebody, it'd probably be me, but like after this podcast, to take these like clips of just like what we've been talking about tonight, with just like having Kyle say rat feces and like just the other random like non sequiturs that we and just like, what is this podcast? We take a couple weeks off and it just becomes chaos. Like, okay. Let's get serious. Let's talk about what we came here to talk about tonight. We got 2 big premieres of 2 big shows to talk about. In order to talk about them, we have to go back, so send us back.
We're back, baby.
Gotta get back in time.
A little disappointed with that one, Kyle. I really thought we were going to get like a really elongated baby. But it was more like a matter of fact, like, we're back, baby.
No, you got to sponsor me if you want.
Okay.
You got to sponsor me with Nathan's Hot Dogs if you want a longer. We're back.
Okay, I'll remember that. All right, we're talking about it. House of the Dragon, Season 2, the big premiere, A Son for a Son. This series, set nearly 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, portrays the events leading up to the decline of House Targaryen, a devastating war of succession known as the Dance of the Dragons. All right, we all saw the premiere last night, June 16th. John, start us off. House of the Dragon.
I have to say, having not seen anything about this since the last episode we watched, I was a little lost. I mean, I think I got all the key points. Obviously, at the end, something major happened. I got that. But, you know, they mentioned somebody's name, and I'm like, who? Who's that? You know, can you show me a picture of them? Which side are they on? Maybe there's like a flow chart or something, an org chart. Like, can you just give me a little bit more of a hint? I don't even think, was there even a recap at the beginning? Like,
yeah, there was.
I don't remember. So like, I was a little lost. I had a hard time identifying which name belonged to which person unless I saw them on screen and someone like said, oh, you know, blah blah blah, and talking to them. So that. And I think that was a major issue I had with the original Game of Thrones is there's a lot of names that are just kind of thrown out there. And sometimes there's a face associated with them, sometimes there's not. Sometimes they've been talking about somebody for 2 seasons and then they show up finally and you're like, oh, that's who they are? Like, you know, like, so it's a little hard to follow, in my opinion. Other than that, I mean, it's Game of Thrones. They've got the CG down pretty well. They've got the drama down. They've got everything kind of squared away, unless they forget a foam cup on set or something. But it was all right. I'm not raring to go see another episode, but I'm sure I probably will see them all at some point.
Well, the thing, you know, to talk about with like the names and stuff, where first of all the names are very similar in this series. Aegon, Aemon, like they're all very close. But then like the ones that are really close are all the kids. And in the first season, I mean, it happened with a lot of characters, but specifically with the kids, every 2 episodes, they changed out the actors. So it's like, as the kids grew up, it was like different people every time to match the names that were already confusing enough. But I think I'm pretty good with this season so far, because literally I had to do a rewatch and I did it like I realized like less than a week before. I'm like, oh crap, like that comes out Sunday. So like I literally watched those 10 episodes in like whatever 6 days to like get caught up before this. So I think I'm in a good spot with it. There's definitely stuff I'm missing. Obviously, as not a huge Game of Thrones fan, I'm still working my way through that I'm sure there's details that I don't fully, you know, got and understand and stuff like that. But, you know, I think there was just, you know, there was a huge moment at the end of season 1. And I feel like this episode was a lot of like table setting, a lot of reactions, the fallout from that moment until the very like final moment of this episode where the title gets its name. And then it's like, okay, that was big. You know, that was the thing. But I feel like a lot of the episode leading up to that was a lot of like, all right, we're setting the table. Like, here's what happened at the end. All right, we got to get this thing going. And so it took a little bit till we got to that final moment. But like Kyle, what did you think of the premiere episode?
I mean, it's good to be back in this world. I enjoy the world that's been created, so that's fun. I was a little bit like John. I kind of understood the overarching, situations happening, but the names are really, really tough for me to get. And I feel like it doesn't help us. Like, let's start in Winterfell because, hey, we recognize Winterfell, but like, I'm like, who are these two people?
Yeah, I didn't know
why are they associated with them right now? Like, I think it's doing a disservice to start us off there. But all the other stuff, I think, we're just setting it up. We're seeing what's happening. There's a couple of scenes where I'm like, I don't know what they're trying to get at yet. Obviously, we'll have to see more, but like, I don't know what's happening with the Lord Corliss dude and his ships. I'm like, we had a scene. It seems like there's something going on with this dude that saved him, but we don't really know the full scope there. I really think sorry.
No, I was gonna say I think there's some sort of blockade going on.
Yeah,
and so I don't know if he's like fighting that or if he's defending that blockade, but I think it has something to do with that.
Yeah, and I really think the green. The queen there.
Alicent?
What is her name again?
I think it's Alicent.
Alicent, yeah. I think she's going to find herself in... she's got problems all around her. I mean, she's for lack of a better term, she's banging the night there. And then she's dealing with two kids that are just on the verge of, at any second, you don't know what their moods are like. And then you've got this conniving Kane dude that I think would just sooner flip on her in an instant. And he's kind of set himself up to do that by saying, I personally have accounted for all the staff here taking for you. So I think she's in a very tough spot right now.
Yeah, she definitely had a busy episode. She also got busy. With Kristen or whatever multiple times there.
Yeah. But never again. We can't have an ever again.
Yeah, this guy also was like, oh, I'm so pure. Like in the first season with Rhaenyra, oh, I'm so pure. That can never happen again. And then now this time it's just like, all right, been 6 hours. Let's, it's just like, so he's such a conflicting person, but discovered at the end by her daughter that like, came into the room. Like, they're also not very secretive with this at all. Like, it's just like anyone could just barge into the room and there they are. So while it was a very busy episode for her, the other queen, Rhaenyra, wasn't, it didn't have too much to do.
One line. That's
one line in the full episode, I believe. And it was just pretty much telling her team that she wants Aemond. And that was it, because she was grieving the whole time and dealing with the death of her son from the events of the season 1 finale. And I just because it's a House of the Dragon podcast, I gotta say my thoughts. Great actress, but for me, I have a hard time with this portrayal. I loved the original Rhaenyra. I just think like there was so much more like charisma, more like just attitude, and maybe it's just because the older Rhaenyra has been like hardened by life and wronged and stuff, but it's like there's no fun. Obviously none in this episode because there was never going to be in this episode. But even like the second half of season 1, it's just like there's no life. There's just like nothing, and it's like, is this the same person? And I feel like there's so many other of the actors that like, hey, this is pretty close from this one is the same person as that one. Like it's, and I just feel like there's a disconnect between these two, and maybe it's because like we're the first 5-6 episodes of season 1, we were with these characters, so these were our people, and then it's like you grew attached to them, and it's like, oh, where are they? They're gone now. They're never coming back. Oh, this is who we have. It's like,
I do remember that transition being very, very hard because the original actress was very, very good. She was very, very good. Yeah.
One person I like so far is King Aegon. He's so bad at his job. He's just so bad at it. And it's like, it's not like he's Joffrey, like, he's not like a psycho, but like, he's just funny. Because he actually wants to help people, and there's just so much more like complications to that. It's like, well, actually you can't do that because we need that for this. He's like, so it's like, he's trying, but like, he's just not good at it.
Yeah. To be fair, if I was him, I would have been like, shouldn't I know this information before I start meeting with these people? Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, he really was thrown to the wolves on that. Yeah. But no, that's so he's fun so far, and obviously, like when he brought his kid to the council meeting, and offering a pony ride and stuff, they're almost a little bit of. We'll get to it in a little bit of Homelander of just like, hey, I'm the king and I can make you guys do whatever I want in these meetings.
Well, that's what I mean. That whole kind of family has that vibe to it, between Rhaenyra, and they're all kind of affiliated with each other, and they all have that vibe to them. Yeah. So on any whim that they have, you're worried, and the fact that they control the dragons. I mean, that's the power that they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it seems interesting that the Knight and Aemon are kind of working behind the scenes, but he doesn't really seem to fill in Alicent with what's happening with her son. So it's a weird one.
Yeah.
Weird one.
Yeah, and also just like when we were saying like, oh, the son, it's like, oh yeah, because like there's so many times where it's like, well, yeah, his wife is his sister, but it's also the daughter. Like there's so much, like it's like all the same family relation in this family that's hard to keep track of who's who. But like, I guess it's like for like the king, whose sister I believe is his wife, who has two kids with. We have this big moment at the end, and I was like really shocked. I think just like with the lack of security going on in this castle here, where these two assassins, sure, like one is, part of like the city watch or whatever, but like can just walk around, be by the king in the Iron Throne room. No soldiers like, hey, what are you doing? Just walking through. They go up to, was it Jaehaera's quarters with the two kids. It's just like these two can just like, Rhaenyra and Daemon and all these people are so pissed off and are going to kill all of you, but you could just have these other people just walk around leisurely through the thing. And, we get this moment at the end here where these two assassins, go there, see there's two kids in cribs, which one is the son? And I really thought, I couldn't tell at first, is she doing like reverse psychology? Is it reverse psychology? Like what's going on here? And I think they even like picked up on that. It's like, no, that is the right one, and they picked the one. We didn't see much of it, thankfully, but you heard it for sure. Very gruesome. And she confirms when she runs into her mother's room. It was the son that was killed. And this just now really the start of this war. If already there wasn't a war, now both sides have lost a son on both sides. So
I was thinking about this, and tell me what you guys think. I mean, when Daemon assigns these two or offers them this thing, he knows that Aemon is like highly skilled technically with a sword and everything. I don't think that he thought this plan was actually going to work. Because why would you think, you're just asking two randos basically to try and attempt to assassinate like a well-known protected noble. Like I just don't think in reality, I don't think that plan is ever going to work. I think the idea more is like, oh, we're still coming for you, and we have our ways to reach you. Even if this plan doesn't work, like, know that we can do this at any time.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of that, because I don't really think, I wouldn't anticipate, hey, that I hired some backroom hitman at a brothel to pull this off. Like, I just don't think that's possible. But I think if you want to scare them and know that, hey, we can infiltrate your castle at any time, there's something to that.
Yeah, almost like, maybe not the same thing, but a little bit almost like the end of season 1 where, they were on the dragons and they were kind of like, haha, this is, and then like when the one dragon acts up and like actually, bites the other dragon and kills the kid. Where then the other writer's like, what the heck? Oh no! Like like that wasn't supposed to happen, kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, we were just kind of like, aha, I got you, aha, like, and it was like, no, this is real now, like this, and like, yeah, we'll see what happens in the reactions next week when, it's a son for a son. Now both sides have lost somebody. This war is definitely on. Curious to how long it's gonna last. I mean, just with the show, I mean, it's been renewed for season 3. With it being a prequel, there is sort of a end date to this. I don't know, like, if I worry that anytime when there's a conflict with two sides, we can talk a little bit about it soon with the boys. Like, how long can you pull this off here, like, without losing some of the major players? Like, you can't just keep going Rhaenyra, Allison, Damon. Like, it's like you can't just have like those 3 the entire series. It's back and forth and killing off all the like red shirts, literally.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the Hand's time might be through pretty quickly. I don't know how many people want that guy around still. I think that too many people are vying for power, and he's been there the longest. And I don't think the king necessarily likes him. He listens to him because of Allison, but I think if I don't know how long he's gonna last.
Yeah, you have to wait and see. I know John said he's gonna check it out here and there, but Kyle, are you gonna continue watching?
Yeah, I do enjoy it. I like being in that world. I like the world they've created, and it's still a good story. Yeah. But yeah,
it's fun, like, to have like that 9 p.m. Sunday night show. People are watching. It's like you're part of the moment. But all right, we got one other show to talk about. I had its premiere this past week too, and that's The Boys, the season 4 premiere, Department of Dirty Tricks. Now, 3 episodes dropped on June 13th. John and I have seen 1 episode. Kyle, how many of the 3 have you seen?
I've seen all 3.
Oh, look at you. A+ this week.
Thanks.
But we'll mostly talk about the first episode. Maybe, Kyle will do some little extra at the end there. But this season, taking place 6 months after the events of season 3, it shows Victoria Newman closer than ever to the Oval Office and under the control of Homelander, who's consolidating his power. And with only months to live, Billy Butcher must find a way to work with the boys, who are fed up with his lies, if they want to save the world before it's too late. A lot going on. It's been a long 2 years. Now, this one for me, maybe I should have rewatched this one. This was hard to get back in because remembering all the details of this, it was tough. And especially I was like who's with Newman, seemingly with Huey and against Homelander, but then then the show shows Huey pouring acid on her, but she's not worried about it, and then Butcher shoots her. It's like, wait, whose side is what? And she doesn't like Homelander, or at least not for her campaign. So it was very hard to get back in, who's on whose side exactly, and who knows what information. So I probably should have caught up on that. But Kyle, did you have the same issue? What did you think of the premiere? What are your thoughts so far?
Both shows. It's been too long. It's hard to get back into the flow of the shows, and same thing with Victoria Newman. I'm like, I don't know why she's kind of scared of Homelander at this point now. And the fact that she's VP to a president that the president knows about her, and the president is working with the team to try and get her out, is just such a weird thing. But then, I mean, toward the end, right, we see her with Huey being like, Huey has something blackmail on her. So yeah, it's hard to get back in. I'm the same for both shows.
Yeah. So I completely agree. It's just like these shows can't keep taking 2-3 years off. I need maybe it's my just attention span. I need it closer together. It's just, so hopefully it's hopefully they're already working on 5 so we can get season 5 next year. But John, what did you think of the premiere?
Yeah, I think in general I enjoyed it. I agree. There was a little bit of who's doing what, but I think that is also a little bit on purpose. Just showing that how the lines are blurred between the teams and all that. I enjoyed the episode. This is one of those shows where they always are like not one-upping themselves, but there's always a little bit more going on in here. I mean, you had a couple scenes, and I don't want to spoil too much, where somebody basically like splat on the ground and then started reconstructing, or like the very last thing where Butcher sends the attachment to what's her name. It's just like stuff like that. It's just like always funny and interesting to see. But, so I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing some more. I do wonder why they are doing this week to week when things like Fallout they didn't do week to week. So it's a little bit strange, but I think as much as I want to watch them all right now, the week to week is a better overall experience.
Oh, definitely. And especially for a show like this, there's something to look forward to. It can build buzz, momentum. And I remember, I think it was season 1, I believe they did all at once. And then when season 2 rolled around, because it was such a big hit, that's when they did this like 3 episodes and then 1 a week. And I remember the fans being so pissed off that like they like bombed the reviews of it or whatever, and were like, giving a low rating because of the release strategy, which is just dumb. Like, you can binge it all you want. Just wait, whatever, 7 weeks and watch it all at once, like whatever. But no, I mean, this one's definitely up in the ante already in this premiere. It's just so dark. The stuff with Homelander, it's just like, I mean, we joked at the beginning, he's getting old, having his own like midlife crisis in a way. He's got all this power he's always wanted, but he's still not happy.
Well, he's got a bunch of yes men around him.
Exactly.
So now you can't trust anybody around him because you
can't trust anyone around him. He saves people, they cheer. He kills people, they cheer. It's all meaningless. Like, he's really going through a lot. And I guess that's the scariest part is like, okay, like, let's see what I can get away with. I can see if I can ask my team members to do these crazy things during meetings, or later on at the end of the episode, which we'll get to, it's like, maybe they can just, kill these people for me. It's just like, what's the bar? Like, what will these people not do? Which is very, very scary. And he's on trial in this episode, for the attack that he had, for attacking the protester at the end of last season. It's a not guilty verdict. And in this conflict that we get after this, after the verdict, I think is going to be the kind of story of the season of like, I think it's going to be a very political season. He asked A-Train, Deep, and Noir to beat up like kind of 3 of the biggest Homelander fans with bats, and they dropped those bodies off at this protest after a disguised Sister Sage starts a conflict from the Starlight side. So it makes it seem like, look at these two sides, like going against each other, and the Patriots and there's obviously a clear comparison of Homelander this season. And that's where like I worry a little bit too much of this show and how much it's going to be like on the nose of politics and what's going on, because like I feel like they do really good, the show, like picking on Hollywood and then superhero culture and like the MCU and like all those like corporation type things. They do a really good job with that, but I don't know if we'll see. But I feel like sometimes with the politics of it all, I feel like it's anytime when you satirize politics, especially in the world now, it's really, really, really hard. I mean, we saw it like in the final seasons of Veep, where like Veep was doing so well, and then like that final season was around the time of 2016, and it's like, like the world is so crazy that what you are doing now, you have to go way above. And like you can't do the same thing. And I feel like we're doing like the same thing. Like there's so many comparisons already. We're seeing the trial, the two sides, Fox News of it all, calling the protester a pedophile, and even having the catheter commercials in between segments. It's like it's so on the nose. It's like, I don't know, for satire and something, you gotta like up the ante. And I don't know if I want to up the ante because already the world is scary enough. But like what could, now you have a superhero, that's even scarier. But I don't know. I just am curious to see how they're gonna walk that line of satire this season. But yeah,
we also, I mean, we have the thing with Homelander and his son, it seems like all the power he has is going to alienate the people around him. We already have kind of A-Train is kind of questioning this stuff. His son seems to not be as, down with hurting people as Homelander is. And Homelander's just like, dude, they're just like playthings. Like they're our pets, basically, that we can do whatever we want with them. And his son doesn't really seem to have that same kind of, I guess, sadistic quality to him. But it's still, his son's like on that razor's edge where he seemingly has or could have more power than Homelander. Is he going to be able to use it for good? Is he going to turn bad? Is he going to be the ultimate villain? I don't know. It's going to be one to look out for. Victoria Newman, I still don't know how she's going to be playing a major part in this too.
If she gets selected, I mean, it's all over.
Yeah. So she's going to be playing a big role, I think. There's a couple of problems I have, or just questions about the story.
Yeah.
I think the thing with the mother's milk's daughter's like stepdad there or whatever, I felt like that was shoehorned in to kind of the fact that he turned this like Homelander's, that just seemed so shoehorned in that he went from like this family man to all of a sudden now he's like this Homelander fan to the max. It was just too, I guess, on the nose, as you would say, or like it just felt like hamstrung in there. Like they just like kind of, it didn't vibe with what was happening. I mean, they kind of said they were kind of pushing it along that way, but I just felt like too much.
I hear you. And that was one of my notes I have where it's like, I'm not sure I need all of the side characters' subplots.
Yeah.
They're fine in the group, but I don't need, like, the episodes are long enough. Like, they're already over an hour. And sure, I got the stuff with Butcher and Homelander and that son triangle. Okay, that's, Huey and his dad. Okay,
and
sure.
mom.
It's like the stuff with the Seven, the Vought. Like, there's so much stuff going on. I don't need, like the mother's milk stepdaughter. It's like, I don't need all that. Like, it's so extra. Like,
and also the other one that I thought, because I don't ever think they alluded to it in previous seasons, was like, wait, Frenchie's bisexual? I thought that the vibe was him and Kimiko, and they like shut that down, and now he's got this other thing. Not against that, but it just felt like it came out of left field for me. Like, if like they had did they allude to it at any point, or just like,
I'm not sure. It's been so long. I always
felt like there was a connection between Kimiko and him.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But maybe that was not sexual attraction, but just like two people bonding. But that is how the vibe of the show felt, and I felt like they just kind of like, whoop, nope, he's bi now, and bang, let's just drop this in here. It just felt like a little bit that, and that one character becoming a Homelander fan out the wazoo just felt too convenient. Like, we just pop it in there, and we didn't do any real work for it.
No, I totally agree with those points. Yeah, like the subplots just, felt like added on. Like just to add more to the episode where you already have so much going on. You have new characters, with Sister Sage, maybe possibly joining the Seven, it looks like. I want to, I've been teasing it for the last 2 years, like, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he's here. I want to see him. And it's such a little thing in the premiere episode. I want more. I want to see how he, interacts in this world and, with the whole group.
Guess what? Not much. Not much in the first 3 episodes, no.
Oh my God.
I think he has one scene.
You have Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I know.
Give me some of him. I don't need the mother's milk stepdaughter's stepdad. Like oh man. Well, I don't know. I'm just hoping that this season, like, not, as much as I love the character of Homelander, like I am, we gotta shake things up a little bit. Like, I'm curious. We have to, if every season's gonna be, oh, the boys gotta figure out a way to get Homelander. Oh, it's the finale. We have him cornered. Oh, he gets away. Okay, next season. I'm like, we gotta, and at least they announced the final season, so there's an end date in mind. Hopefully that really pushes the stakes, gets things going. But then again, there's always spinoffs, and it's like this like funny thing with the boys where it's like what the boys season 1 was making fun of like the MCU and the spinoffs and the video games and the TV shows. I was like, that is like them now. It's like this weird thing where it's like they got the animated series, they got the Gen V series, they got the Boys Mexico, in development. Like they have so many extra things where it's like it's such a big franchise for them. Of course they're gonna do it, but like it's just like funny where it's just like the thing you guys are making fun of is what you have now become.
But I think that's also one of the tropes of all these things. So
it's like like that Jump Street, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, like them commenting on like their whole success in franchise and stuff.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Victoria Newman's daughter, right? Butcher's been taking this syringe stuff that basically is poisoning him, but it turns him into a soup. Now, why didn't her daughter have the same effect? Was it a different thing?
There's a difference between the temp V and the there's the temp V, which is what Butcher and Huey were taking, and I think there's the actual V or whatever the stuff is that when you're a child turns you into a soup. I believe is what it is.
Yeah, because the one that like Butcher was taking was like the one that they were gonna like mass produce and like market out and stuff.
And
I
sell
think
for temporary. Yeah.
But and that's a whole other thing. I mean, Butcher has a ticking time clock here. I mean, how much longer he has to live. So
I love Butcher's character. He might be my favorite character. It's gonna suck if he dies.
Yeah, but he adds that stakes, or it gives him like something where it's like, I'll do whatever the F I want now because what am I, I have a ticking clock. Like I'm gonna be a little bit more dangerous and really take on Homelander, as already he was brave enough. He's going to be even more now, I think. But so we'll definitely keep, watching more. We got, an episode a week dropping. I'm sure later this summer we can talk about the finale and how it wraps up and, gear up for the final season in 2-3 years. Who knows when that will come. But that is it for this week. We had a lot to get through, a lot to catch up on. We were off for a few weeks and we're going to be off for another, couple weeks. It's the summer. We jump around a bit. We all have vacations and stuff like that, but we're gonna be back in July with the next live show. Some of the things we could talk about is The Bear. That's coming back, season 3. I think in like the time that like The Bear has released like 3 seasons, like, all these other shows can't even release 1 season. Like I know it's a different thing, but I think there was like Severance season 1, 3 seasons of The Bear, and then maybe Severance season 2. It's just like wild, but we'll talk about that. And then the Emmys. The Emmys will have our nominations in July. We'll definitely break down those and react to them like we do every year. In the meantime, though, if you're looking for something to listen to, this month is the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters, and John and I did a little something special. I was in your podcast feeds a week or 2 ago, where we listened to our 30th anniversary podcast special. And we commented on what we got right, wrong, stuff like that. So it's a little update at the top of the show from this year, from what we talked about 10 years ago for a movie that is now 40 years old. So you can listen to that. And, if you like those movie podcasts, it's the summer blockbuster season. We celebrate so many movies. Ferris Bueller, Back to the Future, Die Hard. Those all have anniversaries this month. So definitely check those out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doordynasty.com, and of course on Twitch, twitch.tv/doordynasty. We are live on Twitch and on YouTube. Check that out. And you can follow us on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok at doordynasty. I gotta thank both you guys for joining me tonight, a little bit later than we normally do, but couldn't do it without you guys. John for directing the show, putting it up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and YouTube, all that. Thank you guys. All right. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berber.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Do or Duncy. Goodbye, everybody.